Thanks a lot for tuning in today. I'll give you 5 tips about how to drive in London. Please leave a few comments below on if you have any more tips and things like how to drive during the rush hour, what to do if you're in a breakdown. Point number 6 is rules of the road. Now, in relation to rules of the road, as you might know, in England, people drive on the left side of the road. So this might cause a bit of confusion to someone coming in, let's say from the US or from continental Europe, where people drive on the other side of the road. So double check that, because this has a bearing on how you turn left or turn right or proceed at junctions. Now, the other thing to be aware of is how the traffic lights change, the colors, and also the arrows, what they imply. So just double check that to make sure you're familiar with the rules of the road. The other thing to be aware of in relation to being able to drive on the road is that you need a valid driver's license for a motor vehicle to be able to be allowed to drive on the road. So double check that. And one last thing in relation to rules of the road is your insurance. You need valid insurance, ideally if you can have comprehensive insurance. So sometimes you might be able to hire a car and they would normally ask you to take comprehensive insurance. They won't normally allow you to take a car if you don't have that. The reason being, if you are in an accident, there are some excesses which might be required of you. And also just double check that your windscreen cover, because it's happened to me before and it's not a very nice thing to pay for. Normally, if you have a chip on the windscreen, you should be able to get that repaired quickly without it spreading out too far. Point number 5 is the congestion charge. There is undoubtedly a lot of traffic in London. So in order to minimize the amount of traffic in the central part of London, and also because with traffic comes more pollution and stuff, there is a cordon around the central part of London which operates from Monday to Friday from 7 a.m. to 6 p.m. So there is no charge during weekends or public holidays, or between 6 p.m. in the evening and 7 a.m. in the morning during weekdays. So if you happen to see a big red circle with a C in it, just be aware that by proceeding further, your car will be liable to a congestion charge. It used to be about £10. I don't know what it is now, but something to be aware of. The other thing to be aware of, guys, is as people are kind of phasing out these diesel and petrol cars, it's now more preferable to drive electric cars. So there are some areas which are subject to low emissions zones. So that's an extra charge for you. I think it's called a T-charge or so. But just double check in before you go into the central part of London. Point number 4, red routes. The rule is that you must not stop on designated red routes. The routes are marked either using double red lines or by a blue circular sign with a red cross running through it. The double yellow lines are operational 24/7, that is 24 hours a day, 365 days a year. If you stop on that route, you are most likely going to get what's called a PCN, which is a penalty charge notice. So this is a charge which will be payable within a certain period. Point number 3, bus lanes. I've been caught out before on bus lanes, and believe me, it's not a very nice thing to pay for once you get that ticket in the post. So bus lanes are meant to limit areas only to public vehicles, that is taxis and buses. So private cars are not allowed, and there are times which are stipulated. Different times apply to different areas. So just double check anyway, because you might get a penalty charge notice in the post if you find yourself having driven through a bus lane. Point number 2, yellow box junctions. This is one of the trickiest things to maneuver through in London, because there is so much traffic, and when you try to turn left or right, you might find yourself getting stuck in a yellow box because you haven't proceeded further as a result of the car ahead of you blocking you or not being able to proceed. So in this particular case, you will definitely or most likely get a penalty charge notice. So you get charged for stopping in a yellow box, because the very idea is that you are blocking other cars from proceeding any further. So the trick is to keep proceeding further and to allow a gap with the car ahead, so that at least even if the car is slowing down, there is enough of a gap for you to proceed and go past the yellow box junction. Point number 1, the most important I believe of them all, is parking. Parking is such a big issue because there are so many cars in London and surrounding areas. So certain zones which are predominantly residential areas would most likely have no parking available for you. Although if you take a walk maybe less than 30 minutes away from where the intended destination is, you should be able to find parking, or that is paid parking, in an area where there is a bit of shopping. The restrictions on parking are clearly marked on the road signs. So most of the times the parking will be restricted to peak hours to avoid people parking their cars and living there in residence areas. Other things to be aware of is in red routes you can't park, or neither can you park on double yellow lines at any time. Sometimes along the road you'll see single yellow lines where vehicles can park there at certain times of the day. The hours of control would normally be displayed on large signs that designate each controlled parking zone. For more information, guys, please visit the RAC website or the AA website or any trusted government websites. An extra bonus tip, guys, here: if you are landing at an airport and you intend to hire a car, there's normally a lot of choice, guys, when you land at an airport, and you are most likely going to be able to hire a car. But however, please prepare in advance, and it's a lot cheaper if you book online and also book for a slightly longer period as compared to booking on a day-by-day basis. However, you will also need to have your license and insurance ready. If you don't have insurance, the hire company will most likely charge you an extra to cover you for that. They will also ask you to bring the car with a full tank of petrol or diesel. So hopefully in the future we should be able to see you along the road. So if you have extra tips, guys, on what people should be aware of when driving through London, please drop your comments below, and let's hear from you. It should be such an enjoyable place to move around London because you can see far much more. But as long as you're aware of those 6 important points anyway, you should find your journey through London quite an enjoyable one. I hope you enjoyed this presentation, guys. So please leave a comment below on more tips, and also please don't forget to subscribe, guys, so that at least so that more people will be able to get this information, guys, in order to prepare for their next trip to the wonderful capital city of the UK in London. So I hope to see you guys soon. Take care and God bless. Bye bye.